Good morning. My name is Natasha Aitkins. I usually attend the early service, so I don't know everyone here, but I just want to do a quick intro. Like Joel said, he asked me last night about 10:30 or so to speak. So about midnight, I thought, what am I going to talk about? And then what excuse can I come up with not to do this? But I know through all the years that if I make an excuse, I miss an opportunity to share how good God's been to me. A quick intro is we started attending Richfield in spring of 2020, and at the age of 27, my second son was accidentally killed on our family farm. My uncle had accidentally run over him, and that was the hardest thing we have ever gone through as a family. And to keep it short today, from them I've had 5 miscarriages and an ectopic pregnancy. At the age of 36, my husband had a brain aneurysm rupture. He spent 2 weeks in the ICU. He had experienced 2 strokes during that time, and we were told he had a 5% chance of living. But I serve a God that isn't limited by numbers or statistics, and my husband is living and well today. So the question that Joel had for me was, share your experience, but what ministry have you gained through your experience? And as I was thinking through, I thought, Satan likes to tell you you don't have a ministry. He likes to silence our stories. And just to kind of briefly just touch on this, I looked up this morning what a testimony was, and the definition is a formal written or spoken statement. And the definition of ministry is the work or vocation of a minister or religion. So our testimony is our story, and our story becomes our ministry. So to give you what my ministry has been given in my life, shortly after our son was killed, I felt God laid on my heart, you need to have revival services. And so we were attending a very small church at that time, maybe could hold 50 to 70 people. And we did 3 nights of revival services. And it was packed. There was no room. There was standing room only. There was people out in the parking lots just wanting to hear what God has been doing in our life. And I knew that God was forerunning all of this. People came to the altar. People became saved through this. And as hard as it was saying goodbye to our son, we could see clearly, immediately, that God was already working this out for our good. And so for me, as the years have passed, the way I get to present my ministry is a little different than maybe a church service like early on, but the opportunities are still there. And there's sometimes they don't feel easy, and sometimes I don't want to share. But I can say that I know that if I don't, I'm missing opportunities. For me, I always say I get the easiest testimony. When someone says, how many children do you have? It's very easy. I say, I have 3 here and 1 living in heaven. And they always feel bad that I have lost a child. But to me, I've seen the greatest story come out of the greatest pain. My ministry is everywhere. It's hospitals. It's just in the middle of Walmart. I've shared tears with mothers who have lost a child or have had a miscarriage. Anywhere, everywhere, other states. And I can say that we've been able to share with thousands of people. After our son died, we had the opportunity to speak at churches and just speak to thousands of people. I can say that what I have seen and learned is you will find that you are only a few words away from them sharing their own pain. Your story might not be the same as mine. We might not have the same experiences, but I will tell you that you have or endured something, and someone out there needs to hear it. And when we're willing to listen to someone else's pain, it opens the door for sharing Christ and his love for us. I've had the opportunity, my ministry has been it's kind of funny how God works, and like Joel said, this was already being planned before we knew that Aaron wasn't going to be here this morning. I was cleaning out our basement this past week for the yard sale for the church, and before my son was killed, I had started recording a CD of music. I don't think I'm great at it, but I just something I enjoy doing. And I was in the middle of recording this CD, and in the middle of this is when our son was killed. And I didn't feel like finishing it, but God said, you need to finish this album. So this past week, I was cleaning out our basement, and I thought, well, I'll just donate them to the church yard sale. Maybe someone can use them or bless someone. And last night, God said, you know those CDs you loaded up, you can take them along today and hand them out. That's how I knew God needed me here to speak. So when you do leave, feel free to take a CD or share it with someone who may need it. And also, since my son has passed away, we had printed up Bible tracts. They're the best thing. And when I tell people about who my child is, I hand them one of these. I've never had trouble giving out hundreds and hundreds of them. It's just the ministry that God has placed in my life. And so, I could go on with many and many more stories about my miscarriages or what my husband has endured, but I can say, for me, God has placed women in my life who have struggled with miscarriages, with infertility, with their pains and their losses. I've had the chance to cry with stroke victims and families who are trying to pick up the pieces when their life has been altered by someone they love so much that maybe has changed, or they are just helping them through that. But like I said, I can go around this room and I can guarantee we could all share pain that we've endured. And what I want to leave you with today is, don't ever let Satan tell you that no one cares or that you don't have a testimony. Your story is your testimony, and someone needs to hear it. I promise you that if you don't think you're a good speaker, I don't love speaking up here. I'd rather talk to a random stranger at Walmart. But I promise you that God will provide you the words you need in that moment, and they will not be wasted. And I want to leave you with this. Your story is your testimony. Your testimony is your ministry. And may you ask God for strength and boldness to share your story. Thank you for letting me share.